Yes, hello and welcome to all our West Australian football fans to another edition of Around the WAFL. We are into round 12 with three big games and those games that could shape up the final five. We are live from the BackChat studios. You're either watching live on the BackChat YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Paul Persick with you, and I'm joined today by the number one radio voice of the WAFL. He's on Sport FM every single weekend for the match of the round, Jacob Landsmeer. JL, a big welcome to you.
Paul, pleasure. Great to be with you, and what a great season of WAFL we're seeing. It couldn't be a better season. If you're a neutral observer, maybe if you're a Perth fan, you'd be a little disappointed, but I think nearly every other club's had its moments this year, and even the Demons have had their moments. So it's a great season, and you're looking forward to being on the show today.
And the standard of footy to back that point up has been fantastic as well.
I think the average margin of victory is about 24, 25 points.
That's right.
If you take out West Coast, which we can't. They're 0-10, and they're in a pretty difficult position, but it's been a really good season. You turn up to the game and you think, I'm not sure how it's going to go today, which as a broadcaster, as a fan, is exactly what you want, and hopefully it continues that way right through until September when we get a grand final back at Optus Stadium.
Yeah, September 24th, the road is getting ever closer. Now, of course, this weekend, JL, NAIDOC round, of course, we see the jumper designs from all the teams. In fact, it's over the next couple of weeks, NAIDOC round, and we see the best Indigenous stars of the WAFL shine.
Well, there's so many, and you look at the clubs, the players that have been produced for AFL level, and it's great that we have the Dreamtime at the G game, and we have the AFL Indigenous round, but NAIDOC round's a great celebration of Indigenous talent in Western Australian football. I think South Fremantle and Claremont have probably been the leading clubs, and they play next weekend in round 13, so I'm looking forward to that. But I love the designs. I love the time and the effort and the energy that gets put into them by the clubs now, and the people that design them, that have an understanding of the Indigenous culture.
And
so
it's embraced
fantastic
concept. It's an embraced concept, not only by the league, but also Rio Tinto, who have backed this concept in. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, all games in round 12 are live free and in full on the AFL app. This is Around the WAFL, the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. Now, of course, one of the games that's taking place this weekend, Peel Thunder and South Fremantle on Saturday in Mandurah, and he's in form over the last few weeks, and his side's looking to continue their winning ways and keep in touch with the top two. From Peel Thunder, Benjamin Hancock. He's been good enough to join us on the show. Ben, hello, mate. Welcome to Around the WAFL.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Great pleasure to have you on the show, Ben. Obviously, coming up against a side like South Fremantle, they have had their problems this season, but when you come up against a side like the Bulldogs, you really expect a hard-fought game every minute.
Yeah, absolutely. They towed us up at South Free Oval earlier in the year, and we'll be looking to get one back against them this weekend. We know coming up against them, they're, over the years they've been a mature side and really looked to bully teams, and they did that twice earlier in the year. So we're looking to come out all guns blazing after the bye and really look to continue our winning form.
How do you handle the bye, Ben? There's been a lot of talk about it across all levels of football in recent weeks. How do you prepare for this weekend, knowing that the bye's been a bit of a factor for a few teams?
Yeah, it definitely has. You look at the AFL and obviously the WAFL, and teams coming off the bye tend to start off a bit slow, but we've looked to continue our contest work. Had a really good hit out Tuesday night, and I'm sure we'll have another good hit out tonight, and look forward to the contest on Saturday.
Ben, does it add to the challenge this season, as it has been over the last few years, with so many players coming in and out of the side with the Fremantle Dockers, given the alignment? But does it also present a good opportunity for so many of the local zone players to have a shot at the big time?
Yeah, it does. We're never going to roll out the same 22 each week. It's something we continually have to overcome, and I think we've done it pretty well this season so far. You look at our midfield, and I don't think we've had the same midfield group in back-to-back weeks at all this year. So it's a challenge in itself, but we look to thrive on it. Obviously, it gives our younger players a really good opportunity to showcase their talent, and a lot of boys have done that so far this season.
Ben, you mentioned you went down to South Fremantle earlier in the year. Your other two losses have been by very narrow margins, 6 points to Subiaco and 2 points to Claremont, but it's just such an even season. Paul and I have been talking about it. Does it feel like that as a playing group, that it is so close and every week means so much?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You just want to keep winning, I suppose. You look at the ladder at the moment, and there's 4 or 5 teams, either on even points or within a game of each other. So, this next month for us is going to be really important. We've got a good 4 weeks before our next bye, and, if we can win 3, maybe 4 of these games, it's really going to set us up for the back half of the year.
Some of your teammates have been in terrific form as well, the likes of Blair Bell, Sam Sturt, who's been in and out of the Peel side to go to the Dockers, and Nathan Wilson too has been a key as well. What's it like playing with them?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, we've had a really good group of players who have been in good form throughout the year. You know, Subiaco really starting to come to life over the last couple of weeks. He had a really good game against Perth before the bye, and you know, a lot of players have really stood up when we needed them. You know, we don't just rely on 3 or 4 players. It's really a whole 22 team effort that's going to keep continually getting us through these wins.
Jacob Blight, now he's not an AFL listed player. He's come to you from Claremont. He's been a great addition down back and really strengthened your back six along with an experienced guy like Joel Hamling.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been great for us. You know, he probably didn't get a chance at Claremont as much as he would have liked, but he's really blossomed with us so far. And if he continues that form, it's going to take us a long way. And him and Hamling down back, it's really good for us. You know, they're really solid and they take care of the key forwards that we come up against. So to have them down there, you know, our back line's pretty settled and really showing a good case of form.
Ben, big game for you and Peel Thunder against South Fremantle. All the very best for Sunday.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me.
Benjamin Hancock from the Peel Thunder Football Club. Big game for him and his side against the Bulldogs on Saturday.
He's putting together a fair career, Paul. He's probably going to be the first player to reach 150 games in the club's history. We're talking a club that's existed for almost 30 years. So it's a remarkable achievement if and when he gets there. He's the games record holder. He took that from Rory O'Brien earlier in the year. He's played state football. He's a premiership player. I'd like to have asked him about his captaincy over the last 2 years. He's taken on the leadership and how his captaincy speeches go. Some people are very confident and assured and they can get in front of a group and talk, and others are maybe a little bit more lighthearted and maybe get a couple of analogies wrong. I'd love to just tap into that with Ben maybe at another
I'll tell
time.
you what, you know, if you were in Ben Hancock's position as a club captain, what would be sort of your psyche? What would be your game plan, your message to the players, especially from Peel Thunder point of view, who are, you know, grasping onto the top 2?
I think you said it there, that the team changes every week. So you're talking to a different group and you've got players in different positions and it's pretty challenging. I think we need to just appreciate what Peel has done this year. I mean, 2 of their losses have come by a kick or less, and they had one off day against South Fremantle. So they're a premiership contender for me, not just because of the Dockers that they have through the alignment, but through the local talent. You mentioned Blair Bell, Jacob Blight's been a great addition, Riley Smith in the ruck. They've got enough talent without the Fremantle guys there to really contend, I think, and I'm looking forward to seeing how their season goes.
Now, just before we get to our game previews on today's show, of course, we see a lot of the young kids that go to the WAFL games for free, right?
Yes.
Now, but for AFL, for our WA fans of West Coast Eagles and Fremantle Dockers, AFL rounds 16 to 19, all kids aged 14 and under will have free entry. Thousands of young football fans across the state will have an opportunity to attend AFL matches for free during rounds 16 to 19 of the 2023 Toyota AFL Premiership season, with the return of the AFL's Kids Go Free Month from the 29th of June to the 23rd of July. Unleash the ultimate family fun with AFL's Kids Go Free. The young fan base really getting behind the WAFL and the AFL as well. It's great for footy in WA.
Where was that 10 years ago, Paul? When we were a little bit youngster and could have gone to the football free of charge. Fantastic initiative and great for everybody who loves the footy on the weekends. And it's a little bit cold, and yes, school holidays are around at the moment, but yeah, encourage people to get to the footy at all levels.
Absolutely. This is Around the Waffle. Paul Persick and Jacob Landsmeer, the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. All right, let's get to the games, JL. 3 games as part of round 12, all of them on Saturday. First off, Peel Thunder and South Fremantle at Lane Group Stadium. As Ben mentioned, South Fremantle touched them up earlier in the season to the tune of some 7 goals, but this is a different ball game. Peel looking to claw on to second place.
And I think they'll get the win. I think South Fremantle are going through the motions. I think we all recognise that the 8-point premiership penalty before the season started was crucial, made it very difficult before they'd kick the ball in anger to play finals.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't had any consistency. They haven't won consecutive games all year. They lost their most recent game to East Perth before their bye. Peel defensively very good. I wouldn't be surprised if a 10-goal game wins it for Peel. I think it'll be a low-scoring scrap, even in good conditions, and I think the Peel will be too good.
Yeah, Jacob Blight, he really holds the key down back. You mentioned he's had a terrific season inside defensive 50 for Peel, and that's what will really get the job done, because South Fremantle's forward line, it hasn't really connected, especially when you look at how many mature-aged premiership players that they've lost.
Well, you think they lost Hayden Schloith from a midfield point of view, but Mason Shaw is a forward, a huge loss. A Bernie Naylor medalist, a premiership player, and a key focal point in attack. And they didn't have him for much of last year either with injury. But no Mason Shaw. They've rotated a few young guys. Duck Betchenden got an opportunity in their last game. Nathan Spooner's played there as well. So they'll continue to rotate. Todd Curley's a good coach. I think they'll still compete. They're going to be in every game that they play.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they can beat Peel here on their home patch.
Yeah, you've gone with Peel. I've gone with Peel as well by about 5 goals. It should be a very good game, though, in what is going to be decent conditions over there at Lane Group Stadium. Now, this is the one you're at. You'll be calling for Sport FM. Top spot is on the line, Claremont Subiaco at Revo Fitness Stadium.
Western Suburbs rivalry reignites.
Oh, yeah.
It's, well, I mean, Subiaco or Claremont? Where's the better place to live?
I can't really dispute
You're
that.
more northern suburbs.
Yeah, I'm more north of the river.
I'm south. So I hear a lot about Claremont and Subiaco and the rivalry, but you see it on the field, don't you? I mean, there's a lot of spite when these two teams meet. There's a few spot fires. I remember a game a few years ago, Lee Kitchen got reported and Kane Mitchell was in the wars as well. So I think this will be a really good game. This could be a grand final preview.
Yeah, that's a good point you make, because both teams are well entrenched in the top two. They've been in great form. Both have got stacked midfield, forward and back lines as well. So we could see, dare I say it, a real shootout.
Who plays on Ben Sokol?
Oh, tough one. I'm going to have to say Tia Miles. That's a bold one. He can play a little bit in midfield, but the way he effectively disposes the ball across half back, but also how quick he is on his feet as well, I reckon he could take Ben Sokol off his game.
Be a tough matchup if he gets it. No Declan Hardesty. He's out with injury at the moment, and he's a key defender. So Claremont, probably the one area they lack is a tall defender. And I think Subi's tall forward line with Borshett and Sokol and Mayo can probably expose Claremont. I think Claremont will just win. I'm really looking forward to the ruck battle.
Oh, it's going to be
Ollie
good.
Eastland and Zach Clark. Zach Clark, an experienced AFL ruckman. Ollie Eastland, the form ruckman of the competition, along with Zach. Those two could be in the top 10 of the Sandover. Imagine saying that at the start of the year, you'd have two ruckmen in the conversation for the Sandover medal. But Ollie Easton playing great footy, and so is Zach Clark. So that'll be a great matchup.
Yeah, that one I reckon will decide it. It's going to be all down to who does more around the ball and who backs each other up to the ball from the centre deep into attack. Tough one for me to pick, I'll say. You've gone with Claremont, but I'm going the other way. I'm going to say Subiaco.
I wouldn't be surprised if Subi won. What's been great to see this year, maybe not for everybody else. Let's be honest. Yeah. Subiaco have been up for a long time. Nearly every other club would happily see Subi down near the bottom. They missed the finals last year. They're now back almost top of the ladder. Bo Wardman's done a great job with this group. Young guys who've come through, Galen Savini and Jackson McGowan out of the reserves. Rolly Morgan's become a league footballer. It's been a remarkable season for them. I don't think anyone had them contending for the premiership, maybe making the top 5, but they're every bit a premiership contender. So if they win, I won't be surprised.
And like you said, Bo Wardman, he's been fantastic. He's gotten a lot more out of the players of this year than last year. Obviously, it was a difficult year for the Lions, missing the 5 by about a win or two, but Subiaco, they'll get it done, but just against Claremont. It'll be a ripper game. And then the final game on Saturday at 2:10, East Fremantle and the West Coast Eagles at the WACA ground. This is a nice little unique stat for you. Not
like
since
unique
2000
stats.
That any West Coast Eagles team, AFL or WAFL, had played on the WACA.
Well, there you go. I like that stat. I think they'll struggle, West Coast. I don't think it'll be a happy return to the WACA ground.
I don't think so, no.
Unfortunately. What is interesting is that West Coast is one team that has troubled East Fremantle, and West Coast's biggest win has come against East Fremantle. And on that day, Paul, guess how many AFL-listed players they had, the Eagles, when they played East Fremantle?
Oh, I can imagine there wasn't that many.
There was 21.
21?
21 Eagles when they beat East Fremantle back in 2019 by 79 points. Times have changed. They're only going to have a couple of West Coast Eagle AFL-listed players. The WACA's known for its cricket. We could see a cricket score.
I reckon so. Maybe another 200.
That wouldn't be good for the competition. We've seen one in the WAFL. We've seen one in the AFL. I hope it doesn't get to that. I hope East Fremantle win from a slightly biased point of view as an East Fremantle fan, but hopefully it's a better game than maybe we anticipate.
Well, it's going to be in good conditions as well. And there is one thing I'm looking forward to as far as West Coast are concerned. I mean, the form of Zane True, he's seen plenty of the football. He's been one of their only real highlights for the Eagles, and he was also in their team of the week for round 11.
He's a good player, and I think we all wonder why he hasn't played more AFL. He's been on their list for a couple of years. There was a lot of talk when he was drafted about the kind of player he could become, and his numbers in the WAFL are very good, but clearly the AFL coaches have a reason why they're not picking him. Josh Brown, who's not on their AFL list, he's got a lot of the ball this year. Josh Burke, and to kick goals in a team that's struggling, he's done it consistently for 2 years, Josh Burke. He's been one good story.
At least around 1 or 2 goals a game.
Yep, ex-Perth, so one that's gone across and comes from the Kenwick footy club. So he's one to maybe keep an eye on, Josh Burke. He's one shining light in a very difficult year for the Eagles.
As far as East Fremantle is concerned, obviously, I reckon I'd love to see Milan Murdoch get back into form. Obviously, he had to miss because of concussion. Also, the likes of Maguire and also both the Marshes, they've got to have a big lift as well. Luke English, he's been a bit quiet over a week or two. Those ones that are needing to get a big lift, and they certainly will on Saturday.
I think they will. Milan Murdoch missed the last game with concussion before the bye, and he got injured very early the week before. So essentially he's missed 2 games. But a little birdie tells me, one, for those who watch the WAFL games on the weekend, encourage you to do that through the AFL app, he's dyed his hair. strawberry blonde, I believe.
You have got to be kidding.
Milan Murdoch. So look out for that on the weekend. Don't know if he's lost a bet or what, but he's dyed his hair a darker blonde.
Oh my God, he's gone the Mark Jackson
Number
route.
1, Milan Murdoch. He's only about 5'6". They call him Buddha.
Yep.
And he's got an interesting hairstyle. So look out for that.
He has gone the Mark Jackson, the Jacko hair colour.
Probably not quite the same character as Mark Wacko Jackson, but he's certainly a very good player.
You wouldn't dye your hair strawberry blonde on the football field?
Yeah, I'm not dyeing my hair any colour. I'm just happy to have it at my age.
Thank God.
Just happy to have it at my age.
That makes two of us. East Fremantle for the both of us on Saturday at the WACA ground. Hopefully a big percentage boost for the Sharks to keep them in touch with that top 3. Now, speaking of East Fremantle, Jacob, in a couple of weeks' time, Geraldton plays host to the WAFL second regional game of the season, the JK Foundation Cup, East Fremantle and Peel Thunder. What a day that's going to be over there.
It's going to be a beauty, and looking forward to heading up to broadcast that, actually, for radio. So going to be a great occasion. Hopefully the weather gods play along on the day, but Geraldton's been such a rich breeding zone for the East Fremantle Football Club with all the players, and Josh Kennedy's one who hails from that part of the world. Jamie Cripps, Paul Hazelby from a Fremantle point of view, the late Chris Mainwaring. You could probably devote a whole podcast to the amount of players who've come out of that part of Western Australia. So well done to East Fremantle for taking a game to Geraldton. They've seen a few miles this year because they played Claremont up in Broome. I'm looking forward to this game. It's Peel Thunder.
Yeah, they've been pioneers recently of the regional games since they returned. They went to Northampton last year, and like you said, also played in Broome and got the points there. So they're 2-0 in regional games.
They are. Maybe that's a nice little omen for a couple of weeks' time. But well done to Andrew Lockyer, who's done a lot of the heavy lifting. He is too from that region, a former West Coast Eagle. His son Jordan's a premiership player at Subi, and he's the one who sort of organised it all and made sure it's come together. And well done to Peel for agreeing to play the game up there. They've got a lot of AFL listed players. I believe they're going to play in the game as well. So well done to Peel and to East Fremantle for taking this game to the region.
Absolutely. It's going to be big. Round 14 at the start of July. East Fremantle and Peel Thunder over there in Geraldton. That's all the time we have for today's edition of Around the WAFL. Jacob, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and all the best with the call on Saturday at Revo.
Went like a dream, Paul. Absolutely loved it, and well done on the great work you're doing, and look forward to tuning in.
Thanks, mate. And we thank you, our viewers and our listeners, for tuning into today's episode. We've got socials in operation. Give us a big thumbs up on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We really do appreciate it. And you can also watch every episode on the BackChat YouTube channel or listen on wherever you get your podcasts. We look forward to your company on Tuesday to review Round 12. So long, everybody.